Hey, Dan, Broncos had their best offensive game of the year. Bo looked great. I mean, he looked comfortable, looked calm. Should we expect this moving forward from him? Do you think things are slowing down, or is this just a byproduct of the Cowboys' defense being so awful?
No, it's absolutely what you should expect. Certainly, to have signs of that, there is a reality too that the Cowboys' defense is a very poor unit. But it's really good that you had this young offensive football team and young quarterback. The thing that stood out to me was just how much it was attack mode, and that's kind of what a lot of people have been asking for is, attack the defense and go after the defense and kind of dictate to them. Don't allow your offense in many ways to play in a defensive manner. And I thought from early on in the game, it was let's go after and let's find ways to be aggressive with the football. And you saw, I mean, schematically, my favorite thing was how many different ways they got into their 4-by-1 formations. And, when I say that, there's a good amount of teams that are getting into 4-by-1, but they do kind of the same stuff out of it. Gosh, I think Denver had 7, 8 different plays out of, kind of different versions of 4-by-1. So I really think it's what they should be. And it's kind of, at least mentality wise, what I would hope that they strive for moving forward.
Hey Dan, last week we talked about the Broncos basically getting their butts whipped outside on the perimeter of the perimeter of the defense. Their receivers not blocking. Obviously, Sean Payton had a huge kind of reality check meeting with them and saying basically, if you're not going to do what we ask you to do, you're not going to play anymore. Their edge presence from Pat Bryant on down. How much better was that watching them in the screen game and what they did in the pin and pull game out there on the edge with their receivers?
It was huge. I mean, Bryant was the guy that kind of led the way. We talked about him specifically on NFL Live Monday, and so it was massive, and it kind of falls in line with that philosophy of go bring it to the defense, go take it to the defense. And I mean, Mark, you know this, man. Like if you want to play offensive football, tackle to tackle, you got to have an offensive line that fires off the football and tries to reestablish a new line of scrimmage. If you're going to play football outside of the numbers and kick the ball out there, you got to have people willing to reestablish a line of scrimmage out there. And so I think Brian's willingness to set the tone in that regard was a really big deal. And I followed suit. I mean, there's plenty of clips viral of how physical and aggressive they were on the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I just believe in it. And if you look at the teams that are running the football well, everybody's a part of it. It's not just their offensive line. And so for a team that should have aspirations to go deep into January, we all know that's a mandate.
Dan, we saw what we saw last week offensively, and it was great. But talk about the challenge this week facing the Texans defense, who is, I mean, they've got a great defense. Talk about that challenge for the Broncos.
Yeah, so you wanted the number one thing that I would use word wise about Houston's defense is violence. They are a violent football team. All 11. I'll start on their defensive line. Will Anderson, Broncos fans, number 51, he wants to embarrass anybody on the offense from a physical standpoint, both in the run game and the pass game. He tries to split face masks in half. And so that is a bring your toughness to his side of the football type of mindset. They got 2 interior defensive tackles. Settle's playing really good. Daniil Hunter as a pass rusher is a problem. Their linebackers are as fast and quick and downhill as anybody, and they are a group that is aggressive, and they're the best ball hawking secondary in football. They don't have defensive backs playing defensive back because they're DBs. They got kids who go play wide receiver on the ball. Stingley's outstanding. Lassiter is outstanding. They got ultra aggressive safety. So it's a defensive unit that is exceptional, exceptional.
Dan Orlovsky, visiting with him as we do each and every week at this time. Dan, what is this Broncos offense without Patrick Surtain?
Defense, yeah, it's a very different unit. I would tell you this: there is such a comfort in their ability to put Patrick by himself and then let everybody play to the field. He is an eraser. We often talk about that when it comes to left tackles or defensive ends. And those guys are just erasers. They could take half of the field and cross them off. An elite left tackle, I don't care who's playing defensive end on that side that week. He will not impact the game. When an elite corner, I don't care who's playing receiver on that side of the field. He will not impact the game. And so, it frees them up to do a lot of different things. And so Surtain not being there, it definitely affects and impacts how they schematically can and realistically should play.
Yeah, how does, as far as you as a quarterback, when you're looking at a team that doesn't have that guy, then how do you adjust your game? How do you attack that when those guys are out?
Yeah, I mean, you're so much more comfortable building in concepts that are one, full field, or two, middle field open, middle field closed. When as a quarterback, that's kind of how you want to build your pass game, right? So when I say full field progressions, you're starting with one side of the field and you're working across really independent of the coverage. But I remember playing against a player like Darrelle Revis, your full field progression would always start away from Revis. I don't care what the progression is. Where's Darrelle? I'm working away from him. And then when it came to like a middle field open, middle field closed, meaning one safety or two safety, it would be more dependent on, okay, if there's one safety, I'm working opposite Revis. It'd be the same with Surtain. If there's one safety, I'm working opposite Patrick. And so from a quarterback's mindset, now I truly can operate the play or concept of, independent of who's out there, rather than really only having one half of the field you feel comfortable with. So yeah, it's just it's way more freeing as a quarterback.
Dan, talk about the AFC West here. Broncos are leading it right now at 6-2. Do you see three teams from this division making it to the playoffs, and the emergence now of Kansas City? They look like a totally different team than they did 3-4 weeks ago. Talk about how important those weapons are for Patrick Mahomes and what that's done for him this year. The wide receivers there, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Worthy.
Yeah, I do. I had three teams coming out of this division to start the season. I believe that they will. And it's the Chargers are totally attached to their health. If they're going to somewhat be healthy, they're going to get in. Kansas City, when they have all those different people healthy, it's just the number one question is like, who do you want near those guys defensively? And so you got to have someone, you guys know this. Let's just start with Kelsey, right? I don't care if it's man or zone. Who do you want near him? Okay, like what person do you trust near Kelsey? And then you move to Rashee. You better have somebody near him that is strong and fast. So how many people defensively do you have in that regard? Then Worthy. You better have someone near him fast enough to kind of cover the space that he's going to chew up and eat up. And then Hollywood. And so there's this matchup issue that's presented to you. And then their offensive line's playing better. Patrick's, the longer Patrick holds the ball, the better he is now. Again, that's kind of what he was 4 years ago. So that's just a very big problem. They look healthy and their offensive line's playing at a great level. So, yeah, I think three out of this division, and I think it's them in the NFC North is the hardest division in football right now.
Yeah, Dan, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. We just always appreciate your knowledge and joining the program, man. Take care. Have a great week, buddy.
Thanks, Dan.
I appreciate you, boys. Thanks.